5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year! Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to the final episode of 2022 of the Team Unicorn podcast. I'm Tyler.
I'm Sammy.
And today we thought that we would do a couple things with you on the podcast. One, we would just kind of go through our year and maybe talk about some of our most memorable moments that we've experienced throughout this year.
Mm-hmm.
Give you guys a little update on what to expect from us going forward here.
Yeah.
And then just kind of talk about how the holiday season has been.
Yeah. Just kind of wrapping it up.
Yeah, wrapping this year up. And it's been quite a crazy year for us.
Yeah, we actually did quite a bit. Like, it's been busy and it's been a busy holiday season.
It's been very hectic this holiday season. Yeah. And I guess, that's just one of the things we wanted to get into today was just how hectic this past month and a half has been, well, especially since we've gotten back from Disney.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just been very busy, nonstop, hectic, and it just seems like, we're getting to Christmas, right before, obviously this episode is being recorded before Christmas.
Yeah, just before Christmas.
But we're getting in towards the end of the year, and it's been, not to lie, it's been pretty stressful for us.
Yeah, it's been a little stressful. And I know we talked a lot about, like, what we do during the holiday season. Like, we shared all of our traditions with you. And I think we learned a few things, or maybe, like, an important thing.
We've taken a very good lesson from that, and like you mentioned, we talked a lot about our traditions and what we like to do during the holidays, and I think we've learned that it's just if it's too much, it's okay to say no. It's okay to let it go. It's okay to just try to not do too much during the holiday season. We might have unfortunately learned that a little bit harder this year, possibly. I don't know if we want to even say that, but it's just it's been very hard for us.
I think it really hit this year, and it just kind of realizing, like, how much we like to do and enjoy, but then I think we just I don't know if we hit our limit. We probably did. And then we realized after the fact. It's just hard to try to do everything. And I think one of the important things that I learned, like, this holiday season is, as nice as it is to make magic and holiday and Christmas things for other people, sometimes it's okay to scale it back and maybe just only do it for, maybe just the two of us, or, and stuff like that. So it's just, I don't want to, like, keep repeating ourselves, but it's just been, like, a little stressful, and I think more so than other holiday seasons. So, and I know in our traditions episode we we just seemed very cheery, and we were, like, we still are, like, very cheery and Christmassy people.
We still really love Christmas.
Yeah, but I guess, like, at the same time, like, I think it's okay to feel like, like, maybe, it's okay to, like, not do some traditions, or to say no to some things, or to scale things back. And I think that's maybe another side of, like, Christmas and the holidays that people don't maybe want to talk about or show, because it's supposed to be such, like, a happy and joyful time. And there's definitely been a lot of moments this holiday season where it hasn't been that way.
Yeah.
And
you had found something online and shared it to me, and, like, I guess just really kind of hit home this year, because you sent it to me and you're like, hey, it's us. It was, it was something around the lines of, like, no tradition is worth, like, feeling overwhelmed, tired, or going broke over.
Yeah.
And it's okay to let go of those traditions if you are feeling overwhelmed, if you are feeling tired, if you are, going broke over it. It's not worth that sanity. And we've talked extensively, just you and I in private, but we've mentioned it on this show. We've talked about mental health, and it is something that has just really been hard for us this year. And we had a really long conversation the other night, and there was a lot of crying involved in it. You think like and this isn't the time, like you wouldn't think like you'd have like those type of conversations, or you'd feel like really depressed and really down and like depressed and filled with anxiety, but like this year it really has been for us, and it's just been something that's we've talked about. We've been very open with us, just the two of us.
Yeah, I was gonna say we talk a lot, just the two of us, and I think on the outside we do come off as like very cheerful and joyful people, and I think it's hard for us to talk about that stuff with other people. But I think it's important, and I think it's a way to kind of like open up the door and open up the conversation, because I know like other people have messaged us and they've been like feeling the same way. And so I think it's just something that needs to probably be talked about more, and it's just, I guess, something that I think is like really hard to do, especially when it comes to like other members of like your family. Like it's so easy to talk to you about it, but then when it comes to like maybe like opening up to other people, it's just not as easy to do. So I think by maybe putting it in this episode, that can kind of like open up the conversation for other people, to kind of like invite them in and let them know, I guess, like what's going on.
Yeah, and even to that point, like just finally kind of getting it off our chest.
Yeah, just speaking things out loud, out in existence, like just helps a lot. Like maybe there isn't a solution right away, or a way to solve it or anything like that, but at least just like speaking it like certainly helps a lot.
Yeah. So if anyone thought they were coming into today's episode getting a nice, bright, cheery countdown for the year, this is the intervention. This is your therapy session for the end of the year.
Yeah, it's just it's something that's been on our minds, and obviously, like going into this holiday season, having the podcast and making sure that we're up on like making our content for the week and all of the stuff that goes into it, that really played a toll on like how
we felt
stressful and exhausted we've been, like trying to get everything else done that we like to do during the holiday season. So yeah, I guess it's just being more transparent, more honest. I don't want to like come in here and be all cheery and like, yeah, we had like the best year ever, and and we did have
a really good year.
Parts of our year, there was lots of great moments. But I think just these last couple months, I think it just really started off with the Disney trip, like getting sick, coming home sick, and just trying to like do all of our holiday stuff, and stuff just kept piling on. And so it's been a lot the last couple months. And I think we just kind of want to be honest and not come in here and like, I don't want to use the word like fake, but like, kind of fake or seem fake, I guess, and especially after we talked in our last episode about all of our traditions, I don't want to be like, oh yeah, we're just, all about doing all these things and we get them all done and we're all happy and joyful. And, there's so much work that goes into getting that stuff done. And for the most part, we do enjoy most of that stuff. It's just this year has just really hit a lot different.
I know you were talking quite a bit kind of after we recorded that traditions episode, and kind of in between that time and now, like just kind of feeling that almost like imposter syndrome, like
a little bit.
And there are things this Christmas season that we did that really made us happy, that we really enjoyed. There were a few instances where we just felt really overwhelmed and just kind of upset and frustrated. But on top of, after I kind of said, like, this all started coming back after Disney. You've been sick pretty much nonstop since that. I've been sick off and on, feeling good right now, knock on wood. But then like, our weekends typically would go towards the podcast. It didn't help that we had a wedding to go to. We also had a funeral to attend. We had a birthday in between there. and not saying that any of those things were an inconvenience by any means.
No,
it's having all of that kind of pile up on top of everything else going around with all our other holiday traditions that we were trying to get done and are still trying to get done at this time. And other outside factors, like one of our car battery just died. So like that, we don't have,
we've been down to one car.
We've been down to one car for a little bit
since
Disney.
Yeah, since Disney.
I guess not to open up too much and be super transparent, but there's just like a lot of other factors going on that just kind of made it difficult to, I don't know. I use it like a lot, like just kind of not drowned or like just kind of stay above the last couple weeks here. So, and that's kind of why we wanted to incorporate that in today's episode. Like you said, we don't want to feel like that imposter syndrome. We don't want to feel like we're just coming on here and like putting on a show and like just saying everything's all hunky-dory and we're great and let's talk about the next awesome Disney thing that we have on the docket here, even though we definitely will be talking about Disney today. But yeah, it's just, we just wanted to be open, transparent. We had a long conversation last night or the night before about this, and it's just, if we're feeling it, I'm sure other people are feeling it.
Exactly.
It might not be the same, issues that we're dealing with. Obviously, not everyone has a podcast, so you don't have all the added pressures of creating a week's worth of content on top of everything. This has kind of been kind of like a second job for us in a lot of aspects, and not that we don't enjoy coming on here and talking. And this is, a lot of times when we come on here and we're just talking, we have these conversations all the time. So it's just really nice to sit down and talk. But
it's just lately, it's just been more of, like you said, a job or like a chore. It's just, we have to get this done. And it's just on top of like the busy holiday season that we're in and all the stuff that we like to do and get done. And like we said, like there's just a lot of things I think we just take upon ourselves to do during the holiday season that maybe we don't need to take on as much, or maybe like, it's okay if we don't include a bunch of people.
Right.
So I think, and I think a lot of people can relate to that. Like, there's just a lot of like traditions and things that you are expected to do during the season, and it just gets really overwhelming. And to be honest, like, I think this is like one of the first years like this is really hit like that. Because I don't really remember like feeling it, maybe a little bit last year, but definitely not like in previous years, like where I felt just like so
it's
overwhelmed.
Very overwhelming this season. So, I guess we just wanted to take time to kind of hit on that, just because if we're feeling it, I'm sure other people are feeling it. Everyone has their own, kind of things that they're going through and dealing with. I know you had mentioned, I think in our last episode, that the holiday season isn't always the easiest for everyone. It's not always, sugar plums and, family get-togethers and presents and candies and cookies. Like there are some people dealing with, a lot of added stresses or loss or trauma and,
different family dynamics, and it's a lot of that stuff doesn't mesh well around the holidays, and
we get that, and we're right there with you. So we figured even if someone hears this and at least can feel like, I guess, comforted in knowing that other people are going through the same type of feeling that we are,
we can relate.
And it's just, I think it's just something that we can talk to one another about, but I think it is also just very helpful to get it off our chest and kind of put it on the internet. And it feels very like comforting right now, just like kind of talk about it and just kind of be like, this is how we're feeling, just get it off our chest. And but on that note, we do not want to keep it like, I guess,
I don't want to be super sad
during this episode by any means. We do have a really fun episode, I feel, planned for today. And that kind of, it goes along the line with kind of what we were dealing with this past couple weeks, like we've been dealing with a lot of stuff. There's been just a lot of things going on in our lives. It's been very, very hectic. And we've had a few things here or there, but sprinkled in with all that hecticness, there's also been some other fun stuff. And we thought that we'd end the year in the last episode of 2022 for the Team Unicorn podcast, just kind of going back and reviewing a lot of the fun things that we did throughout the year. So I kind of made a list, and I don't think we'll probably get to all of them, but just we kind of want to go through and talk about some of the awesome things we did, some of the fun things that we got to experience. Some of these are like once in a lifetime things for us. And some of them are pretty mundane, but we did have quite a big year this year, and I guess we just kind of wanted to count, or not, I don't necessarily count down, but like just talk about some of our favorite things this year.
So I mean, we can like start in the beginning of the year.
Which as kind of crummy as it's ending this year, it started off crummy.
It did.
We got COVID right after Christmas last year.
Right after Christmas.
Because I remember like after Christmas going back into work, and like I had a little bit of a sore throat, and I'm just like, you know what, I'm just gonna double check just to be on the safe side. Of course it was COVID right away. So then that kind of boiled over into the new year, and we started off 2022 with COVID.
So we started off in quarantine. We did not leave the house. I don't know, was it 10 days at that time? I don't think it was. Or was it? I don't remember. I just remember being in the house a lot, not leaving. And
it was. It felt long.
But
I also like had like a sinus infection on top of it, so like it seemed a lot longer for me just because I couldn't like I didn't seem like I was getting better after it. But the one nice thing about, I guess, getting COVID and being stuck in the house was that we started something that I feel like we've done pretty good this year. And kind of kept it going throughout the year, is we started doing picture of the day.
It was something that I kind of been wanting to do for a little while, like just as a way to take more pictures together, because it just seems like, I don't know, like when you're trying to put like photo books together or like things, like
any gift with like some sort of like picture or like a post for like a birthday or something,
and you're just trying to look through all the pictures that you have together, and you're just like, oh, well, I don't really think we have that many, or like we just didn't take one or whatever. And I'm just like, well, if we take a picture every day for a year, we'll have tons of pictures. And we have missed some days.
I think probably in the course, because right now it's as of scheduling it right now, I think we've missed maybe 11 or 12 days of the entire year so far. So I feel like we've done pretty good. I know there's some days like we'll get into bed and we're just about to sleep, and I'm just like, Sam, we didn't take a picture of the day, and then we'll just take like a quick like sleeping selfie or something like that.
There's probably quite a few of those.
But I mean, we've had some really awesome pictures of the days. Like sometimes we've staged pictures, or we've gone out to places. We've done like tons at like we've done a couple at Lambeau, obviously all our pictures at Disney counted for picture of the days, all of our thumbnails for the podcast for picture of the days. I think like we did quite a bit at Sarah's Gelato throughout the year.
That's definitely our spot for the year.
That was our kind of go-to date night, or just like a little quick treat place, a little gelato shop on the other side of town, which is easily our favorite place in Green Bay to go to currently.
So good.
Maybe once Crumble comes, we'll have to kind of go back and forth between the two.
Probably.
But so we did a lot of picture of the day. Obviously, that was something we tried to keep, and just kind of adding and incorporating different props or different like plushies or new locations. So that was something that stemmed from COVID that has been really fun to do this year.
And I just love taking pictures, and I just try to make an effort, like when we do like family get-togethers, or if we're with other friends, like we try to make an effort to like take those pictures, because I'm definitely somebody that likes to be in the moment, like 'cause I remember like our first Disney trip, like I did not take very many pictures, because I'm just like, I just want to like see and do everything. And even now, like on our Disney trips, I'm like, I have to be like conscious of like, oh, I need to take pictures, and stuff, because like as much as like you can like think about them in your head and like you remember that stuff, it's nice to have something physical that you can like look back on and and especially like share with other people. So so just take the pictures. Like I mean, if that's like one thing, like I don't know, like that's just just taking the pictures.
And I feel like that's something like I tried to be more in the moment this year than I have in past years. Because I remember like our trips last year, like I took tons of pictures. I would take tons of pictures while we were down there. But then I was kind of like, well, then like I feel like just me taking pictures kind of like takes me out of the moment of like just kind of experiencing something. So then, especially on the trip that we took this November, which I mean we'll get into a little bit more later, it was kind of one of those like, well, I don't want to take as many pictures because I want to be in the moment.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, maybe if I took like videos and made like a TikTok, then like I could relive those moments because like it would be in video form. And like I just realized, I think after like the third day, I'm just kind of like, this is just excessively taking pictures. It is the same thing as taking videos.
Yeah.
So like we still took lots of pictures and lots of videos, but like I remember like the first like 2 or 3 days, like I didn't hardly take like any pictures. It was more just like videos, and I'm just kind of like, I just wish I just wouldn't have thought about like the TikToks. I would have just said, nope, not going to do it. And just kind of just taking my pictures like I usually would have and just enjoyed the time. And I mean, I enjoyed the trip, regardless, but I try to be more mindful of that too. Like, especially like when we go to like shows or concerts, like I don't want to be like sitting there taking like a bunch of video or a bunch of pictures. Like I do want some, but like it just to be there and experience it and just remember it. Like, that's kind of what I want to like do. And like, I've been trying to make an effort on that to get away. Cause like you said, like just trying to be more in the moment to like, just remember
but just
it.
taking a few like while you're there. So I don't know, just finding that balance, I guess. But,
yeah. So then kind of going in the beginning of the year, we did quite a bit, like right in like the first couple months of the year. We went and saw Hairspray when it came in town. And that was something that you never seen like an actual like Broadway version of it.
No.
I had seen it on Broadway, but that was many moons ago. And I was very happy with that.
Yeah, that was really good production.
We wound up getting lottery tickets.
Yep.
So that was, pretty, they were like on the floor, but they were like way in the back, but I think they were only like $25 a seat. So like, I love like getting those lottery tickets.
The lottery tickets, those are so good.
And then, so right before we went to Disneyland, I should say, on our first trip, I decided to leave my job.
Yep.
I didn't like quit full time by any means. Like I still I found a different job.
Yeah.
But I left a job that was very stressful and very draining and hurt my mental health quite a bit. So that was a very, I guess, nerve-wracking but needed thing I needed to do.
Yes.
And so far it's been good.
Yes.
It's much better than what I was working where I was working before.
For sure.
But I left a job that really mentally took a toll on me and made me very vulnerable and dealt with a lot of issues from that last job. So kind of getting what we said earlier, like I'm gonna speak it out into existence, and then hopefully something that might hit with somebody and just understand that everyone's going through it. But if you're in a job that's very toxic, please leave it. Do not wait, a day more or a year more to leave it, because it's definitely not worth it.
And it's probably not going to get better.
Like,
you can probably tell yourself, like, oh, I'll just wait it out and see if it gets better. Like, it's probably not going to get better.
Yeah.
So, like, just look and see what your other options are, because it's probably way better than where you're at right now. So,
yeah, so that was a big endeavor right at the beginning of the year.
Mm-hmm. Well, and like right before we left for Disneyland, I think it was like
I started my new job 2 weeks to the day before we left for Disneyland for the first time. So like that was kind of just like a really weird whirlwind. And then going to Disneyland for the first time was incredible. Yeah,
I was gonna say that's probably like one of the highlights of the year, was like finally being able to like go to like the OG park.
Yeah, that the hands down my like top number one thing of the year, I would think. I kind of wish we would have like had the podcast in so we could have talked about it, because we would have had such a good time just discussing how much fun we had there. It was an absolute blast. Like I've had the Disneyland blues like since March.
Yeah.
Like coming back in the beginning of March. It was just I want to go back. I love it so much.
Yeah, like as much as we like up to that point and still do like love Disney World and really enjoy going down to Florida, like just I don't know, Disneyland.
There's something about Disneyland.
Yeah, Disneyland just I don't know, it's just everything there I feel is just it's just a little bit better, and and it's really worth the trip out there. I know it definitely like the flight going out there was not as easy as getting like the nonstop flight from Milwaukee to Orlando, but it's definitely worth the trip. So
yeah,
can't wait till we can
hopefully go back soon.
Yeah,
I keep teasing. Like, I kind of want, like, I have that itch. I really, really want to go. We'll see how money kind of plays out. And right now, we currently don't have any Disney trips or other vacations kind of lined up right now. So that's kind of weird that we haven't had that in like that sensation for like 3 years now, almost like of not having something to like look forward to.
Yeah, because like this time last year, like we had the trip planned and it was all booked and everything, and but yeah, nothing so far. So we'll see what happens.
And then after coming back from Disneyland, I feel like that month and a half, 2 months between like Disneyland, after coming back from Disneyland beginning of March to like my birthday was like pretty crazy.
Yeah, we definitely had some stuff lined up. So it,
we saw Eric Church. He came to Green Bay. We tried to never miss that.
Yeah.
He always puts on a great show, and
should have went to the Saturday show.
Should have went to the Saturday show. Yeah,
that's the only thing that gets me when he plays.
He played 2 shows. The first night it was like sleeting and snowing. It was horrible. Like I know, like you were having some stomach issues, so like it was just tough to get into the show. And not that he didn't put on a good show by any means. It was still a good show.
Always a good show.
But the second night he was there, he played like literally all of our favorite songs, and like when we started dating, like he had come out with the Carolina album, and he did so many of those songs from Carolina, like our favorite love songs and like the songs that meant the most to us. He did them at that second show. So like a little angry about that.
So I was like a little upset when I saw the set list for Saturday night, but it's fine. Like it's still Eric Church. Like he's still like one of our favorite artists. But
yeah, and then after that, a few weeks after that,
oh gosh,
we fulfilled like one of my like lifelong like bucket list items.
Legend.
We got to see Elton John live on his Goodbye Yellow Brick Road tour.
That was such a good concert.
That was hands down probably the best show that I've seen this year. Nothing against the Eric Church show, but like that one was obviously the best. Like we were so close to the stage, and like where he was singing, like we were like I felt like we were right next to him where he was playing the piano. It was incredible. It was worth every penny that I paid for those tickets. Like, it was fantastic. We're still needing to watch the Disney Plus live version of it.
Yeah, we still haven't watched that yet because it's like 3 hours long. So, speaking of not having enough time for things, so yeah, that we'll watch it eventually.
We'll get to it, but yeah, that was easily the highlight of one of the highlights of the year. I might have mentioned it before, but we've had this kind of, I guess, mantra now. Like if one of these kind of artists comes to town and if we can see it, like we need to go. It doesn't matter how much it is.
Yes, because I will forever live by the words you said. You never pass up a chance to see a legend, Sammy. So
and that stood for the Taylor Swift concert too. We weren't able to get the tickets because Ticketmaster bamboozled us out of tickets. I would have paid it for Taylor Swift. We would have made it work, but like. I've seen.
And this isn't the last time she's gonna go on tour. Like, I mean, she's still gonna tour.
But this was like the Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. This was his final North American tour. We've seen Paul McCartney together. I've seen Billy Joel. Seeing Elton John, like just those big 3, like that. Those are all like bucket list concerts. So that was very. It was very overwhelming to finally get to see him after waiting so many years.
Yeah. That was a really good concert.
Yeah, and we've seen a couple concerts throughout the year. Because we also saw Pentatonics this past November.
Yep.
And that was a good show. It's always a good show when Pentatonics is in. Along with Hairspray, which you mentioned before, we saw a couple Broadway shows. We saw them. We saw Dear Evan Hansen.
Yep.
We saw Frozen this
Yep.
year. And then we just mentioned in our Disney Princess episode, we saw Disney Princesses live in concert. So we saw like a lot of really good shows this year.
Yeah.
And then not to mention, we also saw Trey Kennedy.
Yeah, that was so fun.
You bought me those tickets for my birthday.
Yeah, for your birthday.
Because he came like...
He was at the Meyer Theater in downtown.
But I think it was just a couple days after my birthday, or maybe like a week or two afterwards.
Yeah, it was like pretty shortly after, like a week or two after your birthday.
So that was really funny. We follow... I followed him on Instagram for a while now, and he's just hilarious. So that was a really, really good show to go to. So kind of after all that kind of wrapped down, I don't remember like what really like kicked it off, but right around my birthday is when we started talking about this podcast.
Yeah, the podcast.
And I think it was probably like we saw like a movie or something, and then we were like, you know what, like we have these conversations.
Yeah.
And I don't remember like how it came about, but...
Well, yeah, I don't know it, but I know you were doing more research, like how to start a podcast, like what we need to do, like equipment that we would need, and how you go about like recording and uploading it to the platforms that you want and everything. So we did you were doing some research, and then you're like kind of showing me, and I'm like, it's really not like that hard, you know.
Little did we know.
Yeah,
well, like it is fairly easy.
Like the concept, you know, like you record it, like you put it into Anchor, and Anchor like just puts it out, like, you know. So that, you know, in terms of that, like you don't really have to do much work. Us, on the other hand, are so particular and need things to be done in a certain way that we probably add a lot more stress on ourselves, because, you know, right away we knew we wanted to do video and audio, or audio and video.
Yeah.
So that just puts a lot more work and time into what we need to get done for an episode. And yeah, like, but it's, I don't know, we started our first episode, and like we haven't...
7 months later, here we are.
So and it's been really fun. I mean, we've had some really good moments on the show, and we've definitely made some friends along the way. And it's been a really rewarding, challenging adventure. Yeah.
Endeavor,
yes. Yeah. Like all in one. And like I wouldn't really consider myself a very like creative person. Like I get ideas in my head, but I have like a very hard time like putting them out. Yeah, like putting them out there. Like, so I usually tell you like, hey, this is what I'm thinking, or like I think this would be really cool, and then like you can like go and like make it work somehow. So this has been really good, I think, for both of us, because like you are by nature are just such a creative person, and like you are so talented at like doing all of this stuff.
Same
like you are what really makes like Team Unicorn podcast like look and feel the way it does, because of all like the hard work and stuff that you put into it.
Thank you.
So yeah, and it's just been something really fun that we've gotten to do together, you know, talking about all our favorite things. So yeah, so it was a really fun thing to start. And
yeah, and it's just been, you know, some weeks have been a little easier than others, but like for the most part, like we just come in here and, you know, sit down and chit chat and just, you know, talk about something we, you know, love, or something we just saw, or you know, it helps. You know, I think a lot of it kind of stems from like when we go out and see movies, like particularly Marvel movies.
The Marvel movies, yeah.
Like we would come back and be like, oh, like what did you think of this? Or like what did you like? You know, how did you think that this was gonna happen? Like, what did you think of that?
And especially like between Infinity War and Endgame, like how many conversations did we have?
Oh my goodness!
As to like how
what was gonna happen?
Yeah,
how
like,
was it gonna end?
Yes.
And I think that those type of conversations, the ones that we would have leaving the movie theater at like 8 o'clock at night after we saw it on the opening weekend, you know, talking like what our theories were, what we thought was going to happen. Like those are the conversations, like driving home in the car at night, like that we wanted to bring to this podcast.
Yeah. And that's kind of what, you know, we would say, oh, we should really start a podcast, or this would be a great episode for a podcast. And like, we never did it until May of this year.
Yeah.
So
So some other things that happened in May, obviously, my birthday, because that's how I got the Trey Kennedy tickets. We also had Little Nugget's birthday.
Yeah, our oldest dog Maya, she turned 16, so she had a sweet 16 birthday party in May.
Had the family over.
Yeah.
We had, I remember, we got that cookie cake from Pick and Save, and they did such a good job. Like,
yeah, the lady, she was really nice, and she's like, "Oh, do you want me to like put a picture of your dog on it?" And I'm like, "What do you like an actual photo?" And she's like, "No, I can like
pretty much just ice.
Yeah, like ice. I was
paint
gonna
a
say
picture
paint,
almost.
but like with icing, and she like literally iced a picture of Maya on there, and it was so cute.
Like, I felt bad cutting it because I'm just like, I don't know. Like, I felt like Dexter in like the cutting room, and I'm like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this because like the cake was so perfect, and it really made it like really memorable for her birthday. And we had the whole family over, and we had a little photo op, and so that was really, really nice. And she got a little cake, and
Yep.
she got to celebrate her birthday, her sweet 16. And then we all, speaking of birthdays, we also threw your mom a surprise one.
Yeah, my mom turned 60 this year, so I was like, I think it's time for a nice surprise party, and we definitely got her.
Yeah.
She was very surprised because we just threw it here at our house and had the family over, and yeah, she was definitely surprised, and that was really nice to do that for her.
Yeah. And then just a couple, I don't want to say smaller things here or there, but we had our aunt come from Michigan, came over in August for a couple weeks. I got to hang out with her, which is really awesome.
Yeah.
We got to make some nice adult purchases by buying a new roof for the house. Because earlier in the year, like, we had some like bad like wind storms that came through.
Yep.
And like I remember driving to work one day, and I saw like the shingles on the top of the house just flapping in the wind.
And then we started finding them in the yard.
And yeah. So at that point, we're like, ugh, well, we need to get this fixed. So we went around and got a couple different estimates on it. And then one of them was like, oh, well, they didn't go up in the attic and check something else. So then the place that we were going to go, we were like, hey, like, you forgot to do this. Like, what would this be? And they're like, oh, yeah, that's an extra $4,000 on top of it.
Yeah.
But in the end, it worked out because they did it. But then I think they forgot to charge us for it because we didn't get charged. I feel a little like weird saying this because I'm like, if the one random person at like the roofing company is listening to this podcast, then I'm just kind of like, they now definitely have found out. But yeah, no, it's weird. Like they quoted us something and then came back and said, hey, nope, it's $4,100 more to add like what you're asking for because sorry, we didn't look at it. And then they came over, did it, and didn't charge us the $4,000. They only charged us the $100 more for, I think, some like coating or something. So that was fun. We got very lucky on that.
Yeah. Well, we still had to pay for the rest of the roof, which was enough. But yeah, so got a new roof on the house.
Yeah. And then I guess not that we overtly wanted to make this podcast political, but we also had a Women's Right March in Green Bay in July that we attended, and we were very happy and proud to attend that.
Yep.
Women's Rights March. And then kind of after, because that kind of all...
Yeah, that was all like...
towards the end of summer. And then from there, we kind of just turned corners into, on one hand, getting ready for Disney.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, kind of prepping for the holiday season because we were trying to get stuff done a little early because we knew coming in from our trip last year just how crazy things were coming home after a November trip from Disney and then going to holiday season. So we tried our best to manage that a little better.
Get things done before we left, so then there hopefully wouldn't be as much stress.
LOL. But and then on top of all that, just creating content for the episode, going out and seeing movies or watching shows or coming up and brainstorming these new ideas for podcasts and then recording, editing them, rendering them, uploading them, creating all the content for them. That's kind of how it's been for like the last half of the year so far. It's just been kind of either we're planning Disney or we're in Disney or we're planning for Christmas or it is Christmas and all free time other than
Yeah.
that kind of goes toward the podcast.
Yeah, because it definitely takes time. Like, the just recording the episodes, like, they're usually like a little over an hour long. So just, doing that and all the extra stuff that comes with it. So yeah, it's definitely a lot, but I mean, like I said, like we've had like a lot of fun times, like, throughout the year doing it.
So I guess that's kind of wrapping up that year. We wanted to try to incorporate, kind of everything we did throughout the year, and and how everything, I guess, how do I want to say it? How do we kind of go forward here with the podcast, learning everything, knowing everything we know from the last 6-7 months.
So to be honest, I think in retrospect we probably should have taken December off.
Yeah.
Knowing what we know now. So
and we initially talked about taking December off, but
it was just kind of something that was just like said, and we didn't really like do anything with it.
And I think that, once we kind of came up with the December slate of, content and what we wanted to do, we got really excited. We were talking about all our favorite traditions, and then talking about all our favorite Christmas movies,
and the
Taylor Swift episode, which we knew that we were going to do for a while ago. So we kind of had a really good grasp of 3 to 4, including this episode, of 4 ideas. They were like, oh, this will be easy to do, we can just kind of bang those out real quick. But then we didn't prepare, or I guess say worry about what else was going on in the world around us, or what we also had to deal with. So it's been difficult, to say the least. So yeah, we had talked about it, but never wound up doing it, taking December off. Which then leads us to, I guess, the announcement that we are going to be taking some time off.
Yes. So we are for sure taking January off.
Yeah.
I guess at this time, I don't know if that means we're going to start episodes in February. We're just going to see how it goes. I think we just right now need
some decompression time.
Yeah, I think so. When we talked about in the beginning of this episode with, the busy holiday season and a lot of stress that, I think we don't really normally feel during this time of year, and just having to put out the content for the podcast, it's just been a lot. So I think we just need some time to not have to worry about that. So for sure, we'll be taking January off.
Yeah, I don't know when for sure we'll decide to come back. I know, you said you just really hope that we do come back, which I do think that we will. I don't want
to say goodbye.
This isn't a goodbye by any means. It's just, for right now, we do need to take this time to ourselves to just, focus on, our mental health, focus on just, relaxing, finishing up the holidays for us here. And it's just something that I feel like is sorely needed, especially after coming home from the Disney trip and then just dealing with kind of everything that we've already explained. We definitely do need a break. With that said, we have brainstormed some ideas for new episodes. We actually have a couple that are probably close to be ready to shoot, in terms of story, kind of, I don't want to say scripts, because we don't actually really script out a lot of these.
We outline.
Right. So we have a couple that we're really excited for.
Yeah.
So it's not to say that we will not come back. It's just right now we just need
don't know
time.
when.
We just don't know when, because we need that time.
Yeah.
To just.
But our Instagram will still be open. I don't know if we'll really post anything on there, but it'll definitely be open if anyone would like to message us or anything like that. We'll still be on there. I just don't know if we'll post anything, but
Right.
maybe we'll add some stuff to stories here and there just to let you know what we're up to. But
Yeah.
As far as like weekly episodes and stuff like that, there just won't be any for January.
And speaking of the Instagram, like that's going to be the best place to like get more information about, like you said, what we're up to when we decide to do some more episodes or come back, when we decide to come back, what that schedule will be. Will it be every week? Will it be every other week? Will we have a different type of drop schedule? It still be the same type of content, still Disney focused, still lots of fun. But we just need some time to relax into ourselves and just to really, I guess, recharge. I guess. I don't know what word I'm looking for here. just to recharge like brain wise and like get like our creativity that to get everything kind of set to go for like when we do come back. Then we'll be on the same page. We'll be ready and excited to to put out more content. So sorry that we're kind of like started off today's episode kind of like I don't know, like
sad?
a little sad, and then kind of ending it with a little. I don't want to say it's sad.
Let's not end it with sad news. Like, is there something you're looking forward to in the new year, or something that you want to do in the new year, or anything like that?
And I know like a lot of people like around this time will make like resolutions for what to do.
I don't really like the term resolutions. Like, I like. Maybe something you want to work on or something you want to add or do more of, or I don't know, just something to look forward to in the new year.
Right. And I think something that we can look forward to as a podcast is eventually coming back to the podcast and getting back to the table. And because this has always, been a really fun part of, the experience here is just coming here, sitting down with you, talking and kind of going over whatever fun ideas we have for that week. It's just having to do it for 7 straight months it's very hard to do. And, it's been very rewarding, but I think that, just need a little bit of a break. So I don't know if we're going to call this like season 1
or maybe that's what it'll be. It's like it's our season ending,
our season finale.
Our season
it's
finale.
Not the series finale, it's just the season finale. But I do look forward to coming back and talking more and like talking about some of the fun stuff that we have kind of drafted out. I know we've talked about that we really don't have an idea for like a trip coming up this year, so it'll be kind of nice to see like if we do decide to do a trip.
We probably will. I think we just need some time to think about it and just kind of see what happens after the new year. But I'm sure we'll probably plan something, because I can't foresee us like not taking it might not be a Disney trip, but I think there'll be some kind of trip in the future.
Yeah, so that'd be fun to kind of go over. And I'm trying to think, like, I don't know if we even have like any like tickets like to like
we get to go see 6
we
in
do
January.
Get to go see 6 in January. And I feel stupid for that. I don't know what we have going on when I'm literally like looking at the camera. Like if I just like move my eyes like a centimeter over, like we have like our signed 6 autographed book with like when we saw the original cast of 6 down in Chicago. I'm like, it's literally right in front of me. I don't know what we're doing.
We know one thing we're doing.
Yeah, so we're gonna be doing that. So that'll be really, really fun. It'll just be interesting. I don't know what 2023 will kind of throw for us. We've talked about like what we could do for 2024. We've already kind of talked about like some ideas for some Disney trips there. So it'll be interesting to see what happens and see what what it kind of dishes out to us. And but yeah, I don't say it's a resolution, but I will say that we'll definitely be back.
Yeah, for sure.
So we definitely want to say thank you to everyone who has listened over the last 6-7 months here to the podcast, who have engaged with us, who have followed us. We want to say thank you to the Fan Club podcast for having us on their show this year. That was really fun.
Yeah, that was super fun.
Interesting. And, kind of just, I don't want to say interesting in a bad way, but like, it was just something fun to do.
That was our first and only time being on another podcast, and it was a really fun experience, and I would like to say like they're like our friends. So
yeah, I mean, we sent each other Christmas cards, so I mean,
so it's like official, like we're friends. And Sarah and Matthew are just like, they're really great, and I look forward every week to their episodes. And when they were doing the Marvel shows and they were putting out like
pumping out like three episodes a week,
I'm just like, oh my gosh,
I don't envy that.
You guys are crazy, but that was really awesome and really fun to listen to. And so hopefully we can collaborate again and do another episode together. That was really fun. So
and we've got a few Instagram followers that are like pretty religious on like liking up our stuff and hearting everything, and just really boosting us up on Instagram. So thank you for really all that support. It's really awesome, especially with the Instagram, because I put so much time and effort into creating those posts. Those do take a long time to create. I'm using a very old laptop right now. Just with it's very frustrating sometimes to do it on there,
to say the least.
So I appreciate all the love that we get on the Instagram posts, just because they do take a long time to create and to upload. And just thanks for everyone who just tuned in, added a view, added a listen to Spotify or a view to YouTube. It's like there are some episodes that kind of surprise us with how much people we got listening to them or or viewing them. So we never, I guess, set out on at the beginning of this year, beginning of this podcast journey to like try to get so many hundreds or thousands of views or whatever.
Like it was just more for us, really, just to as a way to put those conversations that we have all the time into a way for other people to listen to them, but it was just more for us, to have those conversations, get them recorded, and just have some, I guess, extra fun with it. And and the fact that other people like enjoy listening to them and will follow us and comment and like our stuff it's a really cool feeling, and it's really awesome to be able to like put this stuff out there for you guys, and just knowing that there's other people that kind of like feel the same way that we do. And there's just a lot of different things that we like, and it's just kind of crazy like how much like that can just bring people together.
So it's been a very rewarding, challenging, fun, exciting adventure to go on in 2022, and we definitely do feel like we will be back in 2023 after a break, after a hiatus. I don't imagine it'll be like a 7, 8, 9 month break by any means. Just something that we can just kind of creatively get ourselves back and getting excited for it again, because it has felt like a little bit more of a chore as of lately, and obviously this is for us. The podcast was for us, so we are taking the break for us to come back and come back just as strong as we have been, and make it just as fun. Come up with some zany ideas.
So what other fun games we can incorporate into
what other weird Japanese candies we can eat or something like that.
So like we said, I don't know. I mean, our Instagram is still going to be open for Team Unicorn Podcast. We'll still be available on there. I just don't know how much we'll post on there. For sure, our personal Instagram.
Come follow us on there to see what we're doing.
If you want to follow and see what we're up to on our personal ones, they're linked in our Team Unicorn.
I'm glad, because I had to think about what my handle is for that, because I know yours is pixiedust.sammy.
I think yours is just Tyler Martin.
Tyler.Martin or TylerMartin.07027. It's in our links. It'll be up there.
But we'll probably update more on our personal than probably the Team Unicorn for at least for the month of January. So But our doors are always open. We'll get notifications on there if somebody wants to talk to us or comments on some other post.
And we'll still listen to all your guys' podcasts too.
Oh yeah, for sure. So
but again, thank you so much for all the love and support. We really do appreciate it. Thank you for listening to the final episode of the 2022 year.
Yes.
Not the final episode of Team Unicorn Podcast.
No.
But
and we just, want to wish you well in 2023.
Yes,
we hope
very
you guys
happy
have
New Year.
A great New Year, and stay safe, whatever you're doing out there.
Yes.
We all want to be
we want you back here listening to whenever we come back.
Yeah, for sure. So, but yeah, we just wanted to thank you guys and wish you well in 2023.
But for this, I guess, year end of review episode of the Team Unicorn podcast, I'm Tyler.
I'm Sammy.
And it's been magical.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Team Unicorn podcast. You can find us on all major podcast platforms as well as YouTube. Make sure to subscribe, like, and review wherever you are listening, and follow us on Instagram to keep up with all things Team Unicorn. And remember, stay magical.